4:37 local time. From the steep rocky canyons of the Dashti Lut Desert, 3 IRGC anti-ship ballistic missiles simultaneously ignite. These kinetic masses rapidly accelerate past the 3,800 miles per hour threshold, tracing a ballistic trajectory aimed directly at the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group operating in the North Arabian Sea. The 8-minute life-or-death countdown for the atmospheric re-entry phase has officially begun. From 22,000 miles in space, the fleet's early warning infrared sensors lock onto the targets within the first millisecond, digitizing the ballistic trajectories and pushing the data through the Link 16 joint network. Aboard the escort destroyers USS Spruance and USS Stockdale, phased array radars transition to single target track, concentrating their entire radiation bandwidth onto the peak arc coordinates to intercept the 3 high-altitude missiles. Simultaneously, Iran's coastal hydraulic launch systems ignite Stage 1. This is no unguided volley. 50 suicide drones, programmed into 3 phase-shifted geometric formations, skim the waves at 120 miles per hour to exploit sea clutter for concealment. To neutralize U.S. long-range electronic warfare, Iranian operators cut all radio emissions on the drones, forcing them to run on passive inertial navigation. Meanwhile, enemy PACAP III fast attack boats continuously deploy corner reflectors to simulate the radar signature of a major fleet, intentionally tricking the U.S. automated fire control system into targeting decoys. Display screens in the CIC of the USS Spruance are immediately overloaded with signals. A cascade of tracking, alerts, flashes, pushing processing bandwidth to its ultimate limit. This swarm attack operates exactly like a radio frequency hardware DDoS attack. The enemy is intentionally flooding the fleet's inbox with tens of thousands of spam emails to overflow the buffer, forcing the Aegis computers to burn through CPU cycles, filtering ghost targets, thereby buying an algorithmic delay for the high-altitude hypersonic missiles diving from above. Time to impact indices plummet toward the danger zone. Crimson warning lights glare at the weapons operators. There is no room for human hesitation. The automated fire control computers switch to optimal classification state. In 0.2 of a second, the Aegis matrix scanning algorithms execute differential calculations, instantly stripping away all surface decoys, labeling the radio-silent drone swarm as low-priority threats, and hard-locking the Mach 5 ballistic trajectories into the urgent kill list. The destroyer decks surge to maximum capacity. Vertical launch system VLS cells fly open, venting a massive exhaust plume across the hull. A wave of SM-3 interceptors erupts from the launchers, accelerating past 6,000 miles per hour, tearing through the night sky toward the edge of the atmosphere. The outer layer defense is officially active. A wave of SM-3 interceptors, valued at $25 million per unit, accelerates at 6,000 to 1,000 miles per hour directly toward the edge of space. In the silent vacuum, they self-adjust using micro-thrusters to execute direct kinetic impacts. 2 red dots on the tactical display vanish as kinetic energy converts into thermal energy, vaporizing 2 Iranian missiles into physical dust. However, the Iranian launch crew had pre-calculated the U.S. fleet's air defense equations at the exact moment of the U.S. kinetic interceptors' approach. The 3rd Iranian warhead suddenly deploys 4 active electromagnetic decoy blocks combined with red-hot aluminum foils to create a high-intensity thermal signature. On the radar screens of the destroyer USS Spruance, a single target abruptly splits into 5 signals with identical velocity and radar cross-section. Simultaneously, the actual warhead activates its high-altitude maneuverable fin system, executing a sharp, sudden turn to break away from its predicted parabolic trajectory. The infrared sensor on the SM-3 is deceived, hard-locking onto the decoy block with the highest thermal emission. The U.S. missile's computer commands the ignition of all remaining steering fuel, overclocking the microthrusters to their mechanical load limits to chase the target. Too late. The missed distance exceeds the safety margin. The U.S. interceptor streaks past the Iranian warhead by a mere 2.4 meters before hurtling into the void of space. A prolonged beep resonates within the CIC. The Aegis system shifts the target status to the leaker designation. The Iranian warhead officially re-enters the atmosphere at a 70-degree dive angle. Extreme friction with the dense air compresses the gas ahead into a plasma sheath, heating the nose cone to 2,000 degrees Celsius as it plunges directly toward the carrier deck. Time to impact, 90 seconds. with the Aegis phased array bandwidth pinned to the zenith to calculate the intercept for the Leaker ballistic missile. The Iranian Air Force Command launches its strategic trump card to seize control of the sky. 4 Su-35 Flanker E fighters depart from Bandar Abbas in a synchronized sortie. The Iranian pilots maintain total radio silence, hugging the wavetops at a mere 30 meters, while maintaining high subsonic velocity to minimize radar cross-section within the sea clutter. They aren't hunting with traditional radio waves. Instead, they utilize passive infrared search and track IRST systems to scan the horizon at 30,000 feet. Their target: the heat signatures of the dual turboprops belonging to the E-2D Hawkeye, the critical brain, coordinating the Lincoln's entire strike group data link. The Iranian flight pitches up in unison, unleashing a volley of Fakor 99 long-range air-to-air missiles. The missile motors roar to Mach 5, a surgical strike designed to decapitate the fleet's eyes before the Americans can even register the threat. Inside the Hawkeye's cockpit, the radar warning receiver RWR erupts at a maximum pulse frequency. The massive command aircraft executes a desperate banking emergency dive, dumping clouds of radio frequency chaff and flares while activating high-intensity active jamming pods to break the terminal lock of the incoming Fakors. The response is instantaneous, clinical, and silent. U.S. fighters on combat air patrol initiate a cold intercept, eschewing their own radar to maintain total stealth. They launch the next-generation AIM-260 JATM, Joint Advanced Tactical Missile. The missiles leave the rails in total radio silence, slave to raw dynamic coordinates pushed from orbital space-based sensors via the Link 16 network. Powered by dual-pulse motors, the JATMs enter a hypersonic sprint, tracing a perfect mathematical curve to intercept the enemy from the blind spots behind their exhaust nozzles. The Iranian Su-35 pilots prove their elite pedigree. As the JATM's active radar seekers finally pulse for a terminal lock, the Iranian cockpits flash crimson. The lead flanker pulls a gut-wrenching 11G brake turn, rolling the airframe while engaging Kibini-M jamming pods to shatter the American tracking algorithm. However, the JATM's kill equation has already physically closed the gap. Its multi-mode seeker combining active radar with dual-band thermal imaging ignores the electronic static. It hardlocks onto the kinetic friction heat radiating from the Su-35's nose cone. Kinetic finality occurs with absolute precision. 3 Su-35s disintegrate into fireballs over the open sea. The Fakor 99 missiles, losing mid-course guidance updates from their destroyed motherships, instantly veer 4 miles off target before splashing harmlessly into the water. The threat to the fleet's cerebral center is erased in under 40 seconds. Back at sea level, the controlled chaos of the flight deck reaches a crescendo. 2 A-18E Super Hornets and a single EA-18G Growler are hurled off the catapults into the pitch-black night to solve the remaining variables of the saturation equation. The Growler immediately activates its ALQ-99 jamming pods, flooding the airwaves with a concentrated wall of white noise. This electronic suppression is the tactical equivalent of walking into a room filled with dozens of shouting arguments and coldly pulling the building's master circuit breaker. The radio links and GPS coordinates feeding the drone swarm are instantly severed. Deprived of their digital oxygen, 25 of the UAVs lose their orientation and spiral directly into the dark waters of the Arabian Sea. However, the lead group of 25 drones had already hard-locked their terminal flight paths onto a mechanical inertial straight line. To prevent them from reaching the hull, the 2 Super Hornets execute a high-speed diving intercept, opening fire with their 20mm M61 Vulcan Gatling guns. Tracer rounds stitch through the darkness, shredding the fiberglass shells of the drones and detonating their internal explosive yields directly over the waves. The entire kinetic spam wave is deleted from the battlefield in less than 12 seconds. But the true hypersonic threat has now reached the lethal threshold. The lone leaker, the ballistic warhead that evaded the outer tier, is plunging from the zenith. It is 3 miles out, falling at Mach 5 in a friction-heated plasma sheath. The escort destroyer USS Spruance immediately triggers its deep magazine defense, launching 2 SM-6 interceptors from its Mk-41 vertical launch system. The active radar seeker on the first SM-6 achieves a hard lock on the incoming mass. Proving that the opponent is no amateur, the Iranian warhead's flight computer detects the incoming American radar pulse. It commands its aerodynamic fins to execute a violent high G bank to the left within the thickening atmosphere to break the intercept geometry. The first SM-6 streaks past the target, missing by a razor-thin margin as it struggles to match the warhead's desperate maneuver. However, executing a high-G maneuver at Mach 5 within the lower atmosphere imposes extreme mechanical loads, causing partial structural failure and bleeding vital kinetic energy. The second SM-6, launched on a predicted lead offset trajectory, closes the distance instantly. The tactical action officer triggers the proximity fuse. A cloud of tungsten fragments from the SM-6 warhead tears through the target, shredding its guidance section and forcing the 10-ton Iranian warhead to detonate prematurely 2 miles away from the carrier. A massive low-altitude shockwave rolls across the sea, but the kinetic threat is not yet over. Hundreds of jagged, red-hot secondary fragments continue to tumble toward the bridge of the USS Abraham Lincoln at supersonic speeds. The Phalanx CIWS, the carrier's final line of defense, automatically assumes control. The white dome-shaped mount swivels with mechanical ferocity, its 6-barreled Gatling gun spinning up to 4,500 rounds per minute. The sound is like a giant zipper being violently torn open, erecting a dense wall of tungsten lead that pulverizes the falling debris into coin-sized metallic dust before it can even touch the flight deck. The damage equation is officially closed at 0. 15 minutes of extreme engagement come to a close. In Tehran, state-run media outlets are already broadcasting blurry launch footage paired with recycled explosion clips, claiming the American carrier has been neutralized. But the clinical reality inside the Combat Information Center of the USS Abraham Lincoln tells a different story. The crew is calmly heading to the mess deck for breakfast. There is not a single scratch on the carrier's steel hull. Military calculus. Understand the tech that writes history. Goodbye.